Hello, Saints. I have to share this little story from this morning. I was sitting at my breakfast table and sipping a cup of coffee and enjoying a quiet moment, and I was looking out at where Pastor Chris had hung a bird feeder outside, and some of the seed and shells had fallen down on the patio below. We have been visited by these beautiful cardinals lately, and he found a certain kind of bird seed that cardinals really like, and it attracts them. And I was looking out into a small tree nearby and I saw a pair of cardinals. And one I could tell was the male. He was bright red and he was a larger bird. And then another one was a soft brown red and was a little bit of a smaller bird. And they kind of hopped closer. I could see that they were eyeing the prize of the seed that had fallen from the bird seed, and the quicker, stronger red bird swooped down and picked up this big plump seed in his beak, and I could see him just so proudly holding it there. And a little bit later, the other smaller bird started kind of hopping cautiously down toward the seed as well, looking for something that wasn't a shell but was good to eat. And it touched me so much. The big bright red bird turned away and turned back to the smaller bird and gave that very first seed that it had picked up straight into the beak of the smaller, more cautious bird. And I thought that was just so beautiful. It's such a sweet act of nature, and it made me a little misty eyed. And if you know me, that's kind of a rare occasion. And it just made me think, what a beautiful example of what we all should be doing at this time. We all have gifts, whether it's being the biggest or the fastest, or being the ones who have the best immune system, or a great network of support. But we all have things right now that we can use to help those around us. I was thinking about in Galatians, Paul writes, "Bear one another's burdens, and in this way you will fulfill the law of Christ." And I think in this time, that's what we're being called to do. We all have our different needs. We all have different gifts and skills and different privileges. And we are called to think at this time how we can bear one another's burdens, or help carry the load for our neighbors, or help protect others by the acts that we choose to do or refrain from doing. Paul goes on a few verses later that says, "Let us not grow weary in doing what is right, for we will reap at harvest time if we do not give up. So then, whenever we have an opportunity, let us work for the good of all, and especially for those of the family of faith." It's easy, I think, to get tired of this, to feel that the novelty of stepping up for the community and for the safety of those most vulnerable, it just may lose its initial momentum because of the time that's passing and how difficult this is for all of us. But if we remember that we are being called not to grow weary, but to continue to bear one another's burdens, to do what is right, to use, if we have gifts, skills, talents, time, or treasure, to think about the ways that we can use those for those who may be lagging behind, or may not have the same privileges that we do to stay home, or may not have the health that we may be gifted with. And so that if we are healthy, then perhaps we can try to take extra precautions to keep those who may have health conditions safe. That if we have a regular income, that we may think of those that may need a helping hand, or those charities that might need an extra support at this time. If we have the privilege of staying home to work from home, to try to use that for the good of all and to protect those who have to go out, and to continue to earn a living and to provide for the community and their families. And so I just want to think today about that bird who, when it found something that was easy for him to get, gave it to someone first. And if we put our first fruits toward the work of the Lord, then we will be doing, as this passage says, the work of Christ, or fulfilling the law of Christ. So that is my hope and prayer for you today. You continue to be in our prayers, and I ask that you would keep others in your prayers as well. Keep them at the forefront so that you could do unto others as you'd have them to do unto you.